Hello and welcome. Our program will begin in 5 minutes. Welcome to the Pitch Perfect Challenge. To kick things off, please welcome Raul Suarez Rodriguez, Director, Global Economic Inclusion and Supplier Diversity for Merck.
Welcome to the 2021 Disability in Pitch Perfect Challenge, the finals. My name is Raul Suarez Rodriguez, and I lead the Global Economic Inclusion and Supplier Diversity Program here at Merck. I'm sitting on my home office wearing a teal jacket with a light teal shirt underneath, the lapel pin for Merck, and a Hispanic male, and my pronouns are he, him, and his. Again, thank you and welcome to the 2021 Pitch Challenge. We cannot do this without our sponsors. So I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor for today's event, City National Bank, Cox, MGM Resorts, and the Royal Bank of Canada. In addition, I would like to acknowledge our prize sponsors, BMS and Lowe's. Thank you for your sponsorship. As you may know, this started, by selecting disability-owned businesses in which, we have a selection committee that was able to evaluate them, and we had our semifinals on September 21st. And the judges at that time were able to evaluate the suppliers by their market accessibility, their value proposition, innovation, and auto presentations during their pitch. There also was a public award that was, the People Choice Awards. And, we want to hear from the 3 finalists today. And let's review for a moment the prizes for the winners today. So first place, we have a $10,000 prize. Second place will be $7,500 prize. And the third place, $500 prize. But that's not all. There's actually prizes that each of them will receive. Scholarship for the Executive Education Program at Dartmouth College Tucker School of Business, sponsored by BMS. Thank you, Bishop Myers-Quit. Also, you have a free registration to the 2022 Disability In Conference, and also you have in-kind prizes from Disability In Corporate Partners. Now that we know the prizes, now that we know how we got here, let's welcome our judges. So I would ask them to introduce themselves, and I will start with Stephanie Roper from she's the Manager, Supply Diversity and Sustainable Procurement for MGM Resorts, followed by Mark Morales from City National Bank. He's a Vice President for SBA Lending. And last but not least, Jennifer McNeil, Executive Director of Enterprise Indirect Sourcing at Cox. Welcome, judges.
Good morning. Thank you so much. My name is Stephanie Roper, as Raul mentioned. I'm the Supplier Diversity and Sustainable Procurement Manager for MGM Resorts. I'm sitting in my office in Las Vegas wearing a black blouse, a black T-Mobile Arena jacket, middle-aged Caucasian woman, 30s with medium brown hair.
Morning, everyone. I'm Mark Morales, Vice President of SBA Lending at City National Bank, and I'm the primary contact for supplier diversity for the bank. I work in conjunction with our parent company, RBC, and RBC Capital Markets. I am a slightly over middle-aged Hispanic male. I am sitting in my office in Century City, Los Angeles. I'm wearing a blue suit with a white shirt and the ladder pin for City National Bank, and I'm excited to see the presentation today.
Hello, I'm Jennifer McNeil, Executive Director of Enterprise Indirect Sourcing at Cox, which is a fancy way of saying that we buy all sorts of services. I am sitting in Atlanta, Georgia in my home office, which is in my bedroom, and I've been there now for almost 2 years. I am wearing a bright green shirt and an equally bright green scarf that makes me happy, and very, very large gold earrings, which I enjoy wearing almost every day.
Thank you, judges. Now, are you ready? Because I'm going to introduce our contestants for today's pitch competition. So first of all, I would like to bring up Corey He actually was a recipient of our People Choice Award, a winner. He's going to go first, then it's going to be followed by Jackson Dalton from Black Box Safety, and then last but not least, we'll have Dustin Grella, president of Dusty Studio. So with that said, I would like to bring up to the stage Corey. Please take it away.
Hello, everyone. My name is Corey Axelrod. I'm the founder and CEO of To Extend. I'm sitting here in my home office. I'm a Caucasian male with brown hair, a brown beard. I'm using a white sport or a black sport coat with a light blue shirt underneath. I'm signing for myself, and I have an interpreter who is my voice for today. Can I get my PowerPoint, please? Thank you. Before I share more about To Extend, I want to briefly share my inspiration on how I started my business. Here is a picture of my father and me. I'm a fourth generation deaf person in my family. I was a senior in college when my father was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, which is cancer of the bone marrow. As a deaf individual, not only did he have to fight the cancer, but he also had to navigate an inaccessible healthcare system and dealing with many different healthcare professionals who did not understand his particular needs as a deaf individual. That was his struggle, up to the point until he passed away 10 years ago. As you can see on the screen, it's a map of the United States of America. The slide says deaf and hard of hearing population. There are 48 million deaf and hard of hearing individuals in the United States. I knew something had to be done to address the different disparities that continue to impact many members of my community. That is why I founded To Extend in 2017. On the screen are a list of our different services, which includes consulting, strategic planning, assessments, and training. We are a Chicago-based deaf-owned strategic consulting firm that works with a variety of different organizations throughout the United States that impact deaf and hard of hearing customer service, accessible planning, organizational design, risk management, and organizational compliance, also deaf cultural awareness and responsiveness. As I mentioned, in the US, there are 48 deaf and hard of hearing Americans. It's also when you look at on a global scale. Here at To Extend, we are the bridge between the untapped deaf community and your organization. On the screen are several pictures of me presenting in American Sign Language. To elaborate on that type of work that we do, we recently worked with one of the world leaders of software, and we worked with their employee resource group to give a 1-hour interactive session that talked about creating equitable and experiential experiences for deaf and hard of hearing customers. We had participants from all over the world, including the United States, Canada, UK, Germany, Brazil, Japan, India, and the Philippines. That recording was shared to over 100 employees all over the world. The data shows that more than 80% of those who watched the recording session actually watched it in its entirety. We are currently working with the largest nonprofit healthcare organizations here in the United States to enhance the patient experience for deaf and hard of hearing individuals across 500 locations. The healthcare system is where my wife gave birth to our twin boys. On the screen of me and my two twin boys, Ryder is in the red and Jordan is in the gray. Both boys are 18 and a half months old and are wreaking havoc. Our family journey with this particular healthcare system did not end after my wife gave birth. Jordan, again, who's in the gray shirt, had open heart surgery when he was 6 days old. Through his first 6 months of life, he had a total of 8 surgeries and procedures and spent a total of 60 days in the hospital. While we're forever grateful of the type of care that he received, my wife and I really believe that the healthcare organizations can do better to meet our particular needs as deaf individuals. So I wrote a letter to their CEO and explained areas of improvement. It opened the door for additional conversations. One thing led to another, and now TwoExtend is supporting them on a variety of different projects, such as focus groups and creating digital-based surveys. And those surveys are provided in English and American Sign Language. That gives the participants their option of their preferred and primary language. Once we collect that data, we will submit and figure out the priorities of what to design and improve the patient-centric experience for deaf and hard of hearing individuals. On the screen is our summit highlights from 2021 Deaf and Healthcare Summit for Interpreters. We recently hosted the first Deaf Healthcare Summit for Interpreters, and it positioned interpreters for success for deaf and hard of hearing patients in healthcare settings for interpreters to meet their needs, and deaf and hard of hearing individuals that experience a lot of varieties in the healthcare environment. These healthcare disparities are prevalent, and what we focus on is maximizing the overall experiences of interpreters that impact our deaf and hard of hearing participants. We had 328 registered participants, 39 states and US territories represented, 3 countries represented, 18 deaf and hard of hearing presenters and panelists, and 19 sponsors. On the screen is a picture of a bridge with some fall foliage. TwoExtend is able to do a variety of different things that I just provided because we're not like your standard diversity, equity, and inclusion firm. Our niche is focused on different elements that impact the deaf and hard of hearing individuals, and that really promotes actual change and improves the deaf and hard of hearing experience across a variety of different elements. Authentic representation is critical here at TwoExtend, and that is why our team has a variety of different deaf and hard of hearing individuals that focus on the diverse needs of deaf individuals and shares their own unique experience and provides consulting and training with a variety of different socio and economic statuses. Our team is also skilled in American Sign Language and how to actually adhere and tailor to deaf and hard of hearing individuals' needs. I'm proficient in American Sign Language, and I consider myself a part of the linguistic and cultural minority that is the deaf community. During the semifinals, I did speak for myself. I do have residual hearing, and I can voice for myself. I also wear hearing aids. This positions me as a CEO not only to support the organizational unique needs, but also strategically and expand TwoExtend to drive authentic conversations for those who work with deaf and hard of hearing individuals and position people with the tools for success. At TwoExtend, we focus on experiences and try to tailor all different industries. We look forward to the opportunity of serving as a bridge and supporting your organization and growing your outreach and engagement with the deaf and hard of hearing community. Again, my name is Corey Axelrod. I'm excited to share additional information with you all. You can reach me at email, corey@twoextend.com, or you can use our online form at our website, twoextend.com. Thank you again for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Corey. That was a great presentation. So I'm going to bring the judges So for any commentary or any questions you have for Corey.
This is Stephanie. I'll start.
Mark, oh, go ahead, Stephanie.
Sorry, Mark. Corey, you talk a lot about being in the healthcare industry. Have you ever worked with any other industries outside of the healthcare space? If so, can you share some of those?
Yes, thank you. As I mentioned before in the beginning, we work with engineer software. We work with manufacturer organizations, and we work with finance and banking and a variety of different sectors.
Thank you.
Awesome. Mark, do you have a question?
Yeah, Corey, can you tell me just one of your success stories with one of those, either financial or banking companies, what you were able to implement?
I'll share a story about the manufacturing company that I work with happened about several years ago. Really thinking about the relationship that we have, they reached out to us and wanted to improve their employee experience specifically. So I worked with their HR team. I worked with their senior leadership. We did some focus groups with their deaf and hard of hearing employees. What we were trying to do was collect their experiences in employment throughout that journey of, for example, onboarding, all the way to actually retaining throughout their journey. That experience was profound because several of those employees were actually ready to leave that company because of their experiences. They were frustrated and they're concerned about the different barriers that they were facing within their organization. Some things as simple as the TV in the break room wasn't captioned, all the way to the meetings where they felt like they were excluded and left out. They weren't able to comprehend the conversations that were occurring during the meeting. We were able to compile this data, break it down, submit it to the senior leadership team to really spotlight that the deaf and hard of hearing employees are valued, or as they should feel valued. It should be a sanctuary. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. One question. This is Jennifer McNeil again from Cox. Just curious if you can tell us a little bit about the growth that your firm has seen since you started, and how often you're able to really mentor some of your leaders within your company to kind of take on similar roles to you, as far as either introducing new business propositions to companies or really facilitating.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think a good indicator of our growth that we're actually projecting to triple our revenue this year compared to last year. And during COVID-19 pandemic, that was actually a difficult thing to do. But we've also been able to cultivate our relationships, not only with past clients, but also with new prospective clients in different industries. To be able to increase our revenue, our relationships with a variety of different organizations. As a result of our growth, we've also been able to bring on different individuals to support our work and our mission. As I mentioned before during my presentation, our team has deaf and hard of hearing individuals on our team that share lived experiences. There are statistics that reflect that more than 70% in deaf and hard of hearing individuals are either unemployed or underemployed. Our intention is really to give back to our community, not only through our work with clients, but also giving employment opportunities to the deaf and hard of hearing community as well. We've seen individuals who've thrived in our organization and have taken on more responsibilities. We've also worked with other individuals who've actually grown, but they've actually made an impact in a variety of different other organizations. And we've continued to maintain those relationships with 2Extend to impact their organization.
Thank you so much, Corey. That was great. Great presentation. You always inspire me every time I hear you speak. So thank you so much. So are we having fun? Yes, I would assume. So are we ready for our next contestant? Now let me bring Dustin Grella, and he will be doing his pitch. Dustin.
And that's all I'd like to say today. Thank you. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right, let me start over. Good afternoon. My name is Dustin Grella. I'm a white male with blonde hair and blue eyes. I'm still rocking my COVID beard, and honestly, it's going to be very difficult to cut because I was not one of those people that were able to grow a beard in high school. I had a clean face all the way up through my 30s. My pronouns are him and her, he, him, his, and I'm in some variation of a black watch plaid room. I'm also the founder of Dusty Studio, and Dusty Studio is a boutique animation studio that's been in business for 15 years. It's also a disability-owned corporation, which I'm guessing everyone that's giving presentations today is one of those. I use a manual wheelchair to get around due to a spinal cord injury. In 1995, I was standing on a deck with a couple hundred people at a Grateful Dead concert, and the deck collapsed, and then the roof came down on top of that, and it hit me square on top of the head, and it crushed my C7 vertebrae. So it gave me a spinal cord injury. It cut my spinal cord and paralyzed me from the chest down. There were over 100 people taken to the hospital. It was quite an event. After the debt collapse and the spinal cord injury, I tried to get my life back on track exactly how it was before I had my injury. And I tried to do everything exactly the same and try to kind of keep everything, status quo. And the reality of the situation is that we as humans are constantly in flux. We're constantly learning. We're constantly growing. And to try to stay the exact same is simply impossible. So at about 5 years after the accident, I kind of came to that give or go moment. And I learned to embrace change, embrace my life as in a wheelchair, and the fact that I am different and I have a different perspective. It wasn't when I started, creating the animations for the studio. However, that's where I started learning how to do animations. I knew that it was something that I enjoyed. My parents couldn't get me up ever, Monday through Friday or Sunday. They couldn't get me out of bed. But on Saturday morning, that was the morning that the cartoons were played. And at 6 a.m., boom, shot up like a rocket, ran downstairs, turned on the TV. And from 6 o'clock until my parents woke up, I watched cartoons because that was the only day that they were offered. And so I knew that I had a passion for art and for cartoons and animation at an early age. I kind of a non sequitur here. I grew up in the Midwest in a middle class family. I was very middle of the middle of the middle, and I wanted to be, I wanted to be different. I didn't want to have 2.2 kids and drive a Volvo station wagon and work at the place that my father worked. But now that I am in the wheelchair and I live this lifestyle, I can truly and honestly say that I do have a unique and very different perspective on the world. And not just because I'm, literally a couple feet shorter than most people and looking up and seeing that perspective, but it's also, there's a lot of problem solving that goes into being in a wheelchair. Where most people are running off to get a cup of coffee at the coffee shop, I have to figure out how to get up that stair or two, and then once I've got the coffee, I have to figure out what to do with this hot cup and how to get it back to either a seat or get it back to work. It's there's from the minute I wake up till the minute I go to sleep, I'm problem solving. There's some sort of issue that I'm running into that I have to get through, and I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying that there's I'm trying to kind of show like what goes into the day, because we'll hit some problem solving a little bit later once we get into the artwork. In 2004, my brother was killed in Iraq, and I left. I got in my van and I drove down to the Panama Canal. So it was a 15,000 mile overland journey. And my brother calls me a honey badger, and I'm not quite sure what that means. I think it's a good thing, but he says that I kind of just do whatever I want to do or whatever I need to do. So I got in the car and I drove, and I learned Spanish along the way. And the way, this was an experience that I did that many able-bodied people wouldn't, whether they didn't want to or whether they were afraid to. But it was a great experience for me. I learned a lot. I got down to the Panama Canal, and I said, "Gosh, I'm really lonely." I told this guy that this guy from Spain that was also down there, and he, in this broken Spanish accent, he said, "This just means you're independent." And for a person in a wheelchair where you're constantly trying to be independent or gain your independence, this was like this aha moment for me. And I was like, yeah, I am independent. However, I'm, total independence is actually extremely lonely. And so I got back in my van and I drove home. And on this drive back through, I think it was 11 different countries, that was when I came up with the idea to do these chalkboard drawings and these chalkboard animations. And you have days of driving. So I was sitting there driving, thinking about different ways that I could set up the cameras and build the systems and stuff like that. And that is what Dusty Studio is today. I'm going to try to control the there we go. It worked. I'm actually controlling it with the phone. It's pretty amazing that this is an option. So I do everything with chalkboard on slate. So up in that top right frame, you can see that those are slate chalkboards brought out of 1800 schoolhouses. And on the left frame, I don't just use chalk anymore. I use very fancy chalk called pastels. And that's what we use to create all the drawings and all the animations. The main animation, or the first large scale narrative that I did, was about my brother that was killed in 2004 in Iraq. And it did really well. It played at a lot of festivals and won about 50 awards worldwide. So after that film came out, people started asking us to do different kinds of animations, commercials, and explainer videos. This right here is a animation that we did for J. Crew for a Christmas commercial. Over on the right, you can see there's one that we did for Orphan Black, which was a TV show, and then also a fashion video. This right here, we do documentaries. This one is voiced by Liam Nielsen. It's a poem that we did for a Daniel Berrigan video. We've done other documentaries for New York Times and a series for Nautilus magazine. I'm gonna go through these a little bit quicker, just so we have time for questions on the end. Here's a feature film that we did for Lars von Trier. Its world premiere was released at the Cannes Film Festival, so I got to be a part of that. It was an exciting event.
Imagine.
Matt Dillon did the voice, and I actually wasn't a fan of him when I was a kid. I didn't like him because his picture was on all the spiral bound notebooks that everyone was carrying around. So I didn't like him, but now we're closer friends. So during the pandemic, a lot of our studio used to be a physical location where everybody came in and we all did work together. And during the pandemic, we couldn't use that anymore. So we ended up doing everything online. So we shifted to a totally online environment, and it worked out amazing because there was some employees that I had worked with in the past that had either moved out to LA or had moved upstate or moved out of the country. And now suddenly, because we were all online, it was like a greatest hits package. It was, we got to get the band back together, and we were all in our different locations working together. So we did a lot of these Zoom presentation videos where it was a presentation just like this, and before the CEO or before someone would get up and speak, we would do a short video. So I'll play one of those. Maybe.
This is Bill Sproul, Senior Region Business Director for the Atlantic Coast Region, affectionately known as the AC. My Mission Possible moment occurred almost 24 years ago. My oldest daughter, Morgan, was an infant and woke up in the middle of the night. While it didn't happen very often, I was the one that got up to give her a bottle. In that brief interlude in a rocking chair in the wee small hours, I got the first smile of recognition from my daughter. That moment crystallized for me my mission to move heaven and earth to create a great life for my girls. For them, nothing would be impossible.
1 year ago, I visited Costa Rica, well known for its
through these and keep going. So we also do informational videos. So these are product launches or longer videos that are explaining a different product. I'm gonna keep going.
It's time to bust the persistent myth that there are
because there are approximately 8,300 patients in the U.S.
A month ago, I stood right here.
LBCL.
Joan, my wife, stood right next to me, just where she's been for 53 years.
We're watching 3 videos simultaneously.
I had just learned I had relapsed.
You see that one in the top left is
pages.
watercolor. There we go. Animation Hotline is our studio project. where people call in and leave messages, and then we animate those messages. And we've done over 200 of those messages over the past few years. They've screened at Cannes Film Festival again. This middle panel, the blue, we did that for Hewlett Packard during the Sundance Film Festival. We also have built these, we reconditioned these 1940s phone booths and let people climb inside those and tell their stories, and then we animate those stories. We've done educational programming for children's shows. This one was a Hindi show for children. We've also done workshops for PS 219 out in Brooklyn, where we used animation to help the kids learn about life.
This is awesome, Dustin. Thank you for the presentation. I think, to get things moving, I would like to bring the judges for any type of questions or commentary.
Say it's a very moving story, that you've told here, and I love animation. I was that kid that got up at 6 a.m. Personally, I am the guy that drives the Volvo, so I really
no offense, I love that
of talent that you seem to have within your organization. I'm just curious as to how do you find most of your clients? Do you have a marketing team? Is it through word of mouth? Where is your business coming from, and how much of it is commercial?
Great question. I would say about 10 to 15% of it is actually commercials. We do a lot of inner videos where it might be HR needs to get a video out to legal or whatnot. We do a lot of the, during COVID, we did a lot of these instructional videos or videos where we were promoting the speaker for the conference. And oddly, we've been relatively lucky in that I haven't had to promote the business that much. That being said, oddly, the animation hotline does act as a form of promotion. So it's, there are these short 30-second videos that go out to the internet. People don't mind passing them around, and they really have, people know what they are. They've been widely circulated in festivals and online, so that we've been really lucky.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you, Mark.
Sorry, I said thank you.
Any other questions for the judges before we move to our third contestant?
I have a question. What do you see as next for Dusty Studios? I hear you're not, marketing is kind of leading itself. So what's next in your opinion for where you want your business to grow in?
Honestly, we're here today, so on some level, this is a form of marketing. I've been using the Dusty Studio or the Disability Inn. I've gone to their conferences and I've been going to their meetings. So we've done a lot of these high end, like the movie that we did at Cannes, the Sundance installation. We're still going to continue doing those. However, next level, even though it sounds like it's a step down, it's actually not. but what I would like to start doing are these getting contracts for regular videos, like a consistent video where you're putting out, one a week or one a month, and it's like an inter office communication. So instead of sending out a memo that nobody wants to read, you're sending out an animation that people see the animation every month and they're like, oh wow, I want to click on that, I want to watch that. And the reason behind that is because what happens is, from a creative perspective, you get this team together and you build this animation and you all have a great time and you're all best friends. And then at the end of that, everybody has to go home, and everybody, the team has to break up. And so with these consistent contracts, it'll allow us to stay together, and people can build families off of that.
Excellent. Thank you, Dustin. Again, thank you for sharing your story. Very moving, like Mark said. So let me bring now Jackson Dalton from Black Box Safety to do his pitch. Jackson?
Good afternoon. My name is Jackson. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. My name is Jackson Dalton. I'm 40 years old, a Caucasian male. I'm wearing a French blue collared shirt, presenting from my office. I'm the president and founder of Black Box Safety. We're a supplier of safety products located in sunny San Diego, California. My journey into the field of health and safety started while serving in the United States Marine Corps, where I was injured in a training accident at Amphibious Reconnaissance School. I went through 3 leg surgeries and I didn't walk for a year. I can't hear the audio. And didn't walk for a year. It was always my dream to serve. And it broke my heart when I had to medically retire from the Marine Corps, because I lost that connection to first responders and those that serve our country.
Particularly with utility companies, there's an elevated risk inherent on the job site. So from the moment they step on the job site to the moment the job is completed, there's risk all the way through. Lanyards, harnesses, etc. Like that's our wheelhouse. That's what we specialize in. These workers are badass. So there's no other way to put it.
The bottom line is that I was hurt at work doing my job, and my life will never be the same. And today, it's my mission to make sure that others aren't hurt at work, so that they can continue to do the things they love to do with the people that they love to do those things with. After medically retiring from the Marine Corps, I pursued a bachelor's degree in business, a master's degree in public health, and I became a board-certified safety professional. I spent over 10 years working at 3M as a safety engineer, performing accident investigations and writing corporate health and safety policy. I saved my money, I watched every episode of Shark Tank, and 5 years ago, I resigned my position at 3M and started Black Box Safety out of my 1-bedroom apartment with 1 full-time employee. Over the span of a year, our team went from 1 full-time employee to 6 full-time employees, who all work out of our corporate office in San Diego, California. Our sales team is led by our VP of Sales, Griffin Forsyth. Griffin, originally from Virginia Beach, is the quarterback of our operations. His role is to develop relationships with end users, meet with our clients, and manage our sales team. Carly and Parker, our sales reps, are also from Virginia. Their role is to source the products and supplies that our customers need. Our marketing strategy lies within our 2 Minnesota transplants, Andy and Madeline. Andy is the eyes and ears of our marketing department and the lead of our marketing force. Andy's responsibilities lie in back-end website development, advancing our search engine optimization performance, and working with Madeline to implement strategies that ensure our company's digital goals are aligned. Madeline, the second half of our marketing team, is the backbone of our online presence. Email campaigns, social media, blog posts, etc. it's Madeline's job to make our company known to the online world. Today, our 6 full-time employees are headquartered here in San Diego, where we have a storefront and a warehouse. We're often asked if, as a small business, we have the resources to satisfy the demands of a large business. Emphatically, I say yes. We're the primary supplier of respiratory protection for a large Fortune 100 company with over 150,000 employees. And to date, we've delivered 5.5 million disposable masks to this customer. Additionally, we provide the world's largest healthcare system, the Department of Veterans Affairs, with their respiratory protection. Our first order 5 years ago was for a single case of nitrile gloves to the state of Minnesota prison system. Last year, we delivered over 700,000 boxes of nitrile gloves to the state of California, which is the equivalent of 1 pair of gloves for each of the state's 45 million residents. Sometimes I'm asked by prospective customers, what happens when our supply chain is disrupted? Our motto is that if you need it, we'll deliver it. And if we can't find it, we'll make it. For example, last year, we won a contract with the state of California to deliver 250,000 pair of safety goggles. To add color to this, it takes 250,000 pair of safety goggles to fill 5 shipping containers. All of our domestic suppliers were backordered for 12 months. However, by working with a local San Diego sunglasses company, we figured out how to manufacture all 250,000 pair. We manufactured, tested, and delivered all of the goggles on time and under budget. If you already have a long-term contract with a large prime vendor for industrial supplies, how can you work with Black Box Safety? If you already have a prime vendor for industrial supplies, we recommend that you look at a few line items that consume a large portion of your budget, specifically single-use disposable nitrile gloves, masks, and respirators. Every business at some level consumes single-use disposable nitrile gloves. Our gloves are of a higher quality and cost on average 25% less than our competitors. Some of them are even biodegradable. Nitrile gloves are our sweet spot, making up 80% of our gross annual revenue. If you need it, we'll deliver it. And if we can't find it, we'll make it. To date, Black Box Safety has been the trusted safety equipment supplier for our valued clients across many industries, including healthcare, utilities, transportation, correctional facilities and prisons, law enforcement, police and fire, local, state, and federal government, construction, and manufacturing. As a differently abled business owner, I'm very involved with and committed to the supplier diversity community. I'm an active and perennial volunteer with NVOBA, VIB, Veterans in Business Network, and the National Veterans Small Business Council. My company, Black Box Safety, is certified through Disability In as a service-disabled veteran-owned business, and I take part in the VIB Veterans in Business Network, where I help to host the annual conference each year. Panels that I've previously served on include Business Beyond the Battlefield Virtual Conference 2021, the 2020 Virtual Insurance Diversity Summit, the Supplier Diversity Certification Webinar 2020 Veterans in Business Conference. I also currently serve as a commissioner on the State of California Hospital Supplier Diversity Commission. As commissioner, I'm a representative of other disabled veteran business enterprises in the State of California healthcare system. The goal of the commission is to provide recommendations to the healthcare industry on best methods to increase procurement with diverse suppliers. The key takeaway is that I believe in giving back to and contributing to the supplier diversity community. I see it as my responsibility to inspire and provide assistance to other differently abled business owners, especially those that are early stage startups. If I can do it, so can they. In closing, if you need it, we will deliver it. We respond to all requests for quote within 24 hours. We have over 2,000 products available for purchase on our e-commerce platform, blackboxsafety.com, and we can always be reached by phone or email. And thank you for the opportunity to present.
Thank you so much, Jackson. That was awesome. So I got the judges back and time for questions. I know we're tight on time, but at least one question from the judges.
Excellent presentation. I really got a feel for what you do and your commitment to community. I know that we have been in the same rooms at the same time as I'm chair of the Diversity Task Force of the California Department of Insurance, and I'm one of the sponsors of the VIB conference as well. So good job.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, judges, you guys had to go and deliberate so we can announce the winners. So in the meantime, I'm going to be here with the contestants. So question for you guys, how do you feel about the pitch? What do you learn so far? Go ahead, Corey.
First. This is Corey. It's just a wonderful and incredible experience culminating into today, watching the other presenters and talking about their company, thinking about adjusting about how to do our pitch. I think everyone did an incredible job. Congratulations to everyone.
Thank you, Corey. Any other thoughts from Jackson or Dustin?
Yeah, I'd be happy to respond. I have some stiff competition. You guys did a great job, and it was a really tough act to follow, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I really liked how Dusty on this pitch went into his personal story. I don't remember hearing as much of that personal story last time, and that helped me really connect with him. And just great job, both of you, sincerely.
I agree with that, Jackson, that, humanizing the story makes a big deal because, at the end of the day, we are diverse, we're unique individuals, so we need to put it in perspective because people may not see, what they don't see, right? So we just have to, bring it up to life, right? And I think that the three of you did an amazing job telling your story, which it's how you make that personal connection to the audience.
Yeah, I know for the first round, I did not do any kind of personal story. I just solely talked about just the business and just the company and what we do and the different types of animation that we do. And this time, I don't know. I feel like we all talked a little bit about, about our experience, about where we came from and why we chose to do the things that we're doing now and that story of how we got there. It was fun.
Yes, you guys did an amazing job. Are the judges ready?
Yes.
I can hear you.
I can hear you, yes. All right, good. Tough decision. You guys did a good job. That shows right there. Well, I think you could follow up by saying, you can, given the time, that you will provide feedback after. And
You got that $250.
here we go. We have a judges back, and we're ready to deliberate the winners for today's pitch challenge competition, the finals. So I think Stephanie is the one that's going to be telling us who the winners are. Stephanie, over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody, or morning, I guess, depending on where you are. Thank you all so much for taking the time today to present, and those watching for being here. We all deliberated kind of with a unanimous decision. Based on time, we're just going to go 3, 2, 1. If you guys would like feedback, please reach out to the judges and we'll go ahead and provide that. In third place today will be Dustin from Dusty Studios. Congratulations. Hey. In second place, Corey from 2XN. And first place from Black Box Safety, Jackson. Thank you all so much.
Congratulations.
You're presenting today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stephanie, Mark, and Jennifer for judging today. To our contestant, Corey, Dustin, Jackson, you all are winners. Congratulations for being brave and tell us your story and tell us a little about your business. That was great. Congratulations again, Jackson. Great job. And then again, as we wrap up, remember October is Disability Employment Awareness Month. So we would encourage you to continue to, be aware of people with disabilities and how we could actually make our work environment more accessible for all. Again, thank you for joining us. Have a great day and congratulations to all the winners.
Thank you.